Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome once again to the Watkins Glen International. We are here for the second race of the BodyArmor Dual at the Glen, the 15th race of the season and the penultimate race of the season here in the Haas IndyCar Series. And our last race saw John Andrews go to victory lane. He's 43 points behind, and our points leader starts 25th. Next to last here, the Watkins Glen International. It's going to be very interesting to see if John Andrews and Luna Lona, who is 21 points behind, can close in on that 97. Maybe we'll get somebody else to join the championship battle heading into Pocono next weekend, but it's great to have this guy back. Mike and Knapp back in the booth alongside us. I think the last race, like we were just saying, that he called was the Indy 250. But what a season it has been so far. And Aaron Abel, Luna Lona, two drivers who were strong going into that race. Still the top two drivers in the points, but Aaron Abel starts very deep in the field. What does he need to do here today in order to mitigate a possible points loss going into the finale race?
Oh, well, I think starting so far back in the pack, your mind immediately goes to damage control, Probably not going to win today, so just gain as many spots as you can and stay out of trouble. Don't get caught up in someone else's mess.
And, of course, we saw a huge wreck in Tuesday's race here down the backstretch. It took out 4 cars, so you never know when something like that could happen. It caught us off guard when we reviewed it at the end of the race. But the other thing about that race, Aaron Abel started 16th, finished in the 2nd position. We'll have to see if he can do something similar here today in the second race at Watkins Glen. Of course, this is the penultimate race of the season. I mentioned the point standings. You see them on your screen right there. Aaron Abel is, of course, the points leader. Got 21 ahead of Luna Lona. But Luna Lona starts 12th again, and she could flip that right back around. They were tied going into the last race, and Aaron Abel was able to gain quite a bit, but it could switch all around here if things go a certain way. John Andrews won the last race on Tuesday. He's 43 points behind. Jay Knapp is 66 behind, the highest driver in the championship standings without a race victory. And then Chris Reynolds, who was running well on Tuesday, had a mechanical issue that took him out, 80 points behind. It's going to take quite a bit for the Otter Island Motorsports driver to have a shot, but he does start in the 3rd position here today behind our pole sitter, Ace Garcia. And we'll get them to roll off here as we'll go through the starting lineup. I mentioned Ace Garcia there starting on the pole position. Of course, that inside lane did not work too well at the start of the race yesterday with Bradley Bradshaw starting on the pole. And the driver who ended up winning, John Andrews, started 2nd in that race on Tuesday. Avery Alford right there in that money position. The Outer Island teammates of Chris Reynolds and Trey Smith make up row number 2, and we'll have to see if those two drivers have a dominating performance like they did at Road America. And it's Logan Williams and Landon Smith Jr., the last 2 drivers who are in the Fast 6. We have Roy Ribbleton and Jay Knapp making up row number 4. We got ourselves Tanner Parton and John Stewart in row 5. Couple of championship competitors right here. Luna Lona in 12th and John Andrews there in 11th. You go all the way back to the end of the field where Aaron Abel is in the number 97. It's going to be very interesting to see if he can work his way through the field in this race. Well, Mike, I know it's been a while since you've seen a race here, but definitely a lot of strong drivers and guys who have won races this season starting up front. Who do you think is going to go to victory lane here in the second race of the BodyArmor Dual at the Glen?
Is it a crime if I pick Caleb Rose again?
Well, here's the thing. He won in Michigan. I don't know if you were aware of that. So, you know what? You can pick Caleb Rose if you want to.
You know what? I was aware of that, and I hope that I'm not cursing him, but I think he's got a good chance here today. I mean, that race on Tuesday, 18th to 2nd or 16th to 2nd, what was it? That's definitely, you're definitely capable of making up spots. So
I think
Caleb Rose, let's try her again.
Starts in 18th, so right around that same spot Aaron Abel was on Tuesday to work his way to the runner-up finish. And you gotta watch out for possible wrecks. Of course, we saw a huge one on Tuesday. Who knows what we'll see here today? I was watching the first race that we had last year here at Watkins Glen, and we had a last corner pass. And guess who was coming to the checker flag in that race? Caleb Rose. And Turner won what to date is his last win on the channel in that 38 machine driven by Logan Williams. It all comes together, doesn't it? Well, it's going to come together here in terms of the championship battle. It's going to be fascinating to see who's going to be in contention going into next week's finale race. It's a Friday afternoon IndyCar Series extravaganza here at Watkins Glen. We're green flag racing here in the BodyArmor Dual at the Glen Race number 2. What a start there out of Avery Alford. However, Ace Garcia able to hold on to the second position right there. A good jump at the start for the 27, all things considered. And what we saw on Tuesday, these guys essentially run in a line the entire way around this racetrack. The draft and the toe is just so strong as we go so fast as Trey Smith goes for third on his teammate. This is a tight part of the racetrack, and Ace Garcia already peeking down to the inside of Alford.
Yeah, now he's going to take the outside going down into the boot, but that 27 is looking strong here. But keep an eye on that third place car, the 75 of Chris Reynolds. He's been in contention all season long too, as he looks up the inside now.
Oh, Trey Smith there in the 79's got to be careful with Avery Alford. They got close there off the exit of turn number 7. In the turn 8 they go. Jay Knapp's up the 4th right there. I know you're liking that. And then Landis Smith Jr. in the top 5, and Chris Reynolds falling back there in the 75 machine. These guys are just so close to each other all throughout this course, but they keep it clean in a nice clean first lap, at least up to this point. Of course, turn 11, always a treacherous part on the racetrack, as Trey Smith looking there, but not enough grip on that inside lane. And our pole sitter gonna lead the first lap. Ace Garcia gets it, and we'll have to see if he can get Dutch Atlantis Racing their first win of the season here in the Haas IndyCar Series.
And Garcia breaking the trend on what happened in race 1 of this duel. Keeping that lead, well, not keeping it, but getting it back right away. Very impressive, and it's after having such an abysmal season, it's good to see him running up front.
Dead last in the championship standings. Of course, he was one of the 2 full-time drivers who failed to qualify for the Indy 250. He, along with Thomas Troxel and Bruno Diacomo as well, failed to qualify for the race. But how about this turnaround if he could pull it off here? And who knows, this could end up being his last win. Really don't know what the plans are for Ace Garcia going forward, and little did we know that this race last year would be Jesse Turner's last win up to this date. Hasn't competed since the finale race of the Haas IndyCar Series last year. Going to be interesting to see who gets this race victory. I know Avery Alford once won, though. He's gotten a good season going over there in the Sprint Series, but has yet to go to victory lane in the ride that won the championship last year. Of course, these guys have been doing a great job in the Cup Series, but not had as much to show for in the IndyCar Series there with Andrew Williams' team. But how about this top 4? I think any of these top 4 guys can win it. You got Trey Smith there in 3rd, and then Jay Knapp in 4th. And our fuel cycle going to be just like it was on Tuesday, right around lap 9, lap 10, when these guys are going to come down for their cycle of pit stops. And that obviously came into effect with how these guys ended up finishing. So we'll have to see. A lot of the guys took right or left sides only. Of course, like I said, this being a NASCAR simulator, that is an option for these guys. The fuel-only strategy out of Thomas Troxel did not work, and it's going to be interesting to see if any of these drivers end up playing that strategy here today.
Yeah, and I think race 2 in a duel like this ends up being a little easier because you get to see what happened in the first race. But going back to what you had mentioned earlier on, is to see a couple cars trickling side by side down the back, is the top 4 have really separated themselves. You mentioned that they run in a draft train the whole time. There's about a second gap between 4th and 5th right now, so I mean, if you're not in this top group, these guys are just going to keep running away from you.
Absolutely. And Alford keeps on hanging with that 27 and peeking down. It looks like he's going to have an opportunity here in a couple of laps to possibly get around this 27 of Ace Garcia. We got a battle here. Roy Ribbleton and Chris Reynolds still going after it there for the 6th position. And let's see where our points leader is, because this is very fascinating stuff here. He has gained a few spots. He's going 3 wide. He just wrecked.
Oh, no.
Our points leader just took himself out along with Christian Vargas and Angel Olvera in turn number 8. My goodness, and we just went right to him, and that could cost him the championship because he's not getting out of that sand trap right now. And Luna Lona still out there in the 00. She has lost a few positions. He's 14th right now. She's now 13th, excuse me. John Hader's not having a good run. He's 16th. You know, Jay Knapp's going to put himself in a position now after that to have a chance at the title going in the Pocono next week. Wow. A lot like Drew Webb. Oh, and we have, a moment of time right there with Christian Vargas hitting the attenuator there on the pit lane. He was already essentially out of the race right there. We also have Cole Raymond as well. My goodness, and I don't know if you saw that Cup race in Michigan with Drew Webb, who has been the dominant guy for the most part over there in the Wall Cup Series. Blew that tire on the last lap in Michigan. Wasn't quite as drastic there, but the points leader having issues, and I think Aaron Abel's out of the race. Because he's still on the pit lane there. He's definitely not going to win. As for third, his teammate going after it against Trey Smith.
And now this could be a dicey corner. Hopefully Knapp doesn't make the same mistake. Oh, it was a little tight. It's just so hard to make a move down there. I've tried many a pass in that corner and it does not always work out. It's pretty deceptively narrow, but yeah, just a disaster for that 97 team, and you hate to see it, but you know, the good news is they did have a 20-point lead, so if they can bounce back, I mean, there's still a possibility that they could bounce back, but this is not what you want to see heading into the final race.
And of course, as they currently run, he still is the points leader because Luna Lona does not have 20 points where she's currently running, and John Anders, of course, was 43 behind, and he's 16th right now. Jay Knapp's really the only one who's going to gain significantly on that 97, and he came into this race 66 behind. Had a shot there on Trey Smith, couldn't quite do it, but look at this gap now between the top four and the rest of the field. They've got over 2 seconds now on 5th place, and the way it's looking like any of these top four may get the race victory here at Watkins Glen. Here we go for 5th. Hey, Roy Rippleton having a great run. His teammate's leading this race, and he's looking to get a top 5 here as he's trying to get around this 07 Atlanta Smith Jr.
Yeah, this is just such a tough section of racetrack to pass. I mean, the carousel is, if you can line it up nearly flat. Oh, is he going to sneak it up the inside? Yes, he is. And he's going to complete it off the corner. So just as I'm talking about how hard it is to pass, move Ribbleton up 1 spot. That was a good move.
And that was 2 spots he gained because he also got around Chris Reynolds. Reynolds falling back in the 75. He's down to 8th now. Logan Williams is 7th. They got Tanner Parton there and Eric Drew rounding out the top 10. There's Nicholas Amadeo, John Stewart. Luna Lona is now 12th, right back to where she started, I do believe. No, excuse me, she's still 13th. And then you got John Eaters all the way back here, not in a good position at all. Fitzwater and Caleb Rose battling. And you got the 21 still in the 16th position there for Crown Ultra Racing after winning on Tuesday. Not a good run for Reynolds, and he had an opportunity to really close in, and he will still be in championship contention going in the Pocono, but he's not going to be as close as he would have liked, as Trey Smith looking all over the gearbox of Alford going up the hill and through the S's, and he might have a shot going into the carousel.
This is something that Knapp in 4th likes to see, especially if they're about to go side by side, because it's going to allow him to catch up. 75 to the inside.
Ooh, that was tight
79.
right there. And they're still side by side as they exit the carousel, and Jay Knapp may have an opportunity at getting one of these guys at least. There's Trey Smith on the outside, going into the boot in turn 6. And he's going to have the inside in the turn 7 right here, and this is exactly what Ace Garcia wants to see, but he's pulling away now from these guys as Trey Smith will make the pass on Alford, or at least try to. Alford hanging tough on the outside, unable to get the outside lane to his advantage though, and Trey Smith, I don't know, they're still side by side.
Oh my goodness.
And Jay Knapp still right there, looking for 3rd now on Trey Smith. Smith couldn't get it, and the 98 might take advantage here. He's got a left-hander right here on the inside. My goodness, they continue the battle.
79 running way wide.
They're still side by side, and Alford a little wide there. But Trey Smith may finally get it, and Jay Knapp going to take advantage here. What a battle here for the 2nd position as Trey Smith finally clears. This inside isn't the best place to be in turn 1, but Knapp's going to try it on Alford.
And they're side by side going up through the S's too. That's another tricky spot. Basically anywhere on this track, it's incredibly hard to run side by side, but we'll see what the 98 can do. But how about that move by Chris Reynolds? Took him about a lap to do it, or half a lap to do it, but he got by and he's sailing away now.
And Trey Smith hasn't been the season that he had last year. Of course, won the Indy 250 in 2022. But 14th in the points of all the drivers who have won races so far this season. He is lowest in the points of those drivers, sitting in that 14th position. Looking for a 2nd win, though. Ace Garcia greatly benefited from that, but keep in mind, we still have that cycle of pit stops as Jay Knapp will get her on Alford, so that's 2 positions lost for Avery Alford right there. At 13 going away just a little bit, and another position, and that right there, that's 3 points for Jay Knapp. So he's in a position right now where he'll gain 35 points. And And with Aaron Abel out of the race, he will finish last. As they run right now, Aaron Abel would lose 34 points to J Knapp. J Knapp was 66 behind. J Knapp would be 32 behind going in the Pocono, so he would have a mathematical chance at the championship. Of course, he would have to finish essentially in a podium position to have any opportunity next week. But he might be able to get another one right here as he's looking on the 79 at Trey Smith. He might have a shot here on this 79 machine.
And like you said, that inside is just not it in these Indy cars, and I do apologize for mixing up the 75 and 79. Trey Smith having a great run today. Reynolds a little bit further back, my apologies, but teammates, so close.
Teammates.
But
and Trey Smith, I'm not sure if you remember, if you saw Road America at all, he was second most of that race and then wrecked out on the last lap. Sure, he doesn't want that to happen again. And who knows, he'd be higher in the points if that Road America race didn't happen when his teammate Chris Reynolds got his third win of the season. Of course, you mentioned Chris Reynolds, and he's losing another one here to Tanner Parton. They're battling right there. 24 machine trying to take 8th away from the 75. Meanwhile, Ace Garcia has pulled away to a near 2.5 second lead on the field because they just kept on battling for second. And it's going to take a little bit of strategy out of J Knapp or Trey Smith to get around that 27 at this point. Ace Garcia has run a flawless race here for the Dutch Atlantis Racing team.
well, you know, at this point, you're praying for a mistake if you're second or third or even fourth, because I mean, we saw Tuesday that no tires or 2 tires, that doesn't really work. So you just gotta pray that something happens to Garcia. So Garcia cannot put a wheel wrong here, nor can his pit crew.
And of course, the strategy we saw with Thomas Troxel, I don't think we're going to see here today, is John Stewart in the outside wall a little bit. Andrew's continuing to fall back a little bit here. He's still 16th, but really not in a good position. No one going with that fuel-only strategy that Troxel did. Now, Cole Raymond was down the pit lane there already when that wreck occurred, and he's currently 23rd. And Angel Oliveira was caught up in that accident. He is in 24th. Christian Vargas is out of the race, obviously, after hitting the pit road wall. Then Aaron Abel couldn't get out of the sand trap, and he's out as well. J Knapp looking, but unable to really get a run on Trey Smith right here. But he's still within 3 seconds of Ace Garcia, and it could be a race fixture for either J Knapp or Trey Smith here today if they play this pit strategy correctly. Now, Aaron Abel stayed out a lap later than everybody else, and that did benefit him. Finished second in the race. And of course, J Knapp is his teammate. He may pull a similar strategy to possibly steal this win.
Yeah, it's smart spending less time on pit lane because you're putting in less fuel, but Knapp is all over Smith, and applause to me for actually getting Smith correct this time around, but just neither of these two guys putting a wheel wrong and having a great battle.
Definitely a great battle at that for the second position. Garcia still staying out. See if anyone comes down right here. No one quite yet. They saw what happened the other day, and they're like, yeah, I don't want to. Troxel knows, he came down the second time, did not put enough fuel in the tank, and could have gotten the top 2 finish. Actually, could have won the race, and in fact, his teammate ended up getting the race victory in that one. I would imagine, though, next time by, we'll see these guys come down the pit lane. Here we go. This battle for second continues to rage on, and J Knapp might have it here, looking to the inside, and this is a tough place to make a pass. It's a dangerous place to make a pass, but generally these guys can get runs down that backstretch into the carousel, but J Knapp still unable to get a nose to the inside of that 79. He's got to be careful not to get into him here.
And I'm so surprised that Knapp is just able to hound the gearbox of Smith running in dirty air like that. I'll be curious to see how many of these guys duck into pit lane and how many stay out. If you stay out on your own, you get the benefit of a clean pit lane. Not too busy, no risk of being held up, as we see Knapp just looking for any possible way around the 79.
And we saw that on Tuesday with Chris Reynolds had contact on the pit lane. I'm wondering if that contributed to his mechanical failure in some way. That took him out of the race. Here we go. Ace Garcia going to lead us down. And he's in a great position now. We'll see if anyone stays out. Trey Smith, J Knapp, they both come down the pit lane. Tanner Parton going to play the strategy here. We'll have to see how it works out for him. We're going to follow with these guys. It's going to be a tight pit lane, and especially these two guys, Trey Smith and J Knapp. They're going to be careful with each other. J-Nap started 8th. He's kind of midway down that pit lane. He's going to have some guys around him on his pit stop right here. I would imagine we're going to see some tire changing on the left side. It's a difficult pit lane to get out of as well. You see that guardrail kind of cut down into the pit lane. Ace Garcia ain't going to waste no time right there, as Trey Smith a bit slow right there. J-Nap will gain the advantage on him. Landis Smith Jr. will be 4th, and Luna Lona, what a pit stop out of Luna Lona right there. Up to 5th in the running order off the pit lane. She knows that Aaron Abel had an issue, and she's looking to take this points lead going into the finale race next week, but Ace Garcia with the clean racetrack ahead, but J-Nap in this 98. I have a feeling he might close in and have a shot at this race victory. What do you think, Micah? He's your driver.
Well, you know what? He's got, 3.5, 4 laps to do it, but it's, 3 second, a 3 second gap, maybe even more, so he's going to have to gain over a second a lap. We'll see what he can do, but props to the 00 crew, Luna Lona. I mean, it's great when you're having a kind of a mid-pack day and your championship rivals have issues. Sometimes it can be good to call the strategy, as here she is making up another spot.
That was tight there with Landis Smith Jr., but she's going to move up to what will provisionally, we assume, be 4th. Of course, a couple guys stayed out, and John Andrews stayed out as well. Yes, he's another one of these guys who wants to stay in championship contention. And that number 21 going to come down with Caleb Rose and Tanner Parton as the latecomers. We'll see if they go fuel only, maybe. Maybe have a bit of a slower stop. They got a much cleaner pit lane to deal with here. Ace Garcia coming around right here. And you know what? That 98 is closer to that 27 than he was when the pit stops again. That was a lightning quick stop for that NS Racing team right there. They're all going to surpass the drivers on the pit lane. So this race is going to be between Ace Garcia and J-Nap. And the difference across the line was under 2. So, Ace Garcia blew up! Oh, and J-Nap's got to be careful getting around him. The race leader has blown up here at Watkins Glen. And this is one of the worst places to blow up because it's a blind corner going up the hill. He's got to get out of the way right here. I think all these guys will avoid him. What a totally unfortunate turn of events for Ace Garcia. Dead last in the championship standings. Had an opportunity at winning here today at Watkins Glen. And he is out of the race in this 27.
This poor guy just cannot catch a break this season. That whole team can't catch a break this season.
And you know what? This is big right here. This is huge. J-Nap has never won a race on the channel before. And we've had a pretty good streak of drivers getting their first career wins this season. Aaron Abel, Luna Lona both have done so. Caleb Rose did so as well. We could see our 4th driver this season, or should I say 5th driver, because Gutierrez won the 250. 5th driver this season in the Haas IndyCar Series to get their first career win. But I'd watch out for that 79 of Trey Smith. He's hounding down this 98 now, and hey, we got 3 laps to go. It's far from over here at Watkins Glen, but J-Nap getting the lap led, and he is going to be right there in the championship battle, the way things are currently running, going in the Pocono. How about this, Mike? I'm sure you're proud of your metaphorical son right there in the 98 machine.
Oh, you know what? He is absolutely 100% real in my heart. And Lona, don't forget about her. She has snuck her way up onto the podium. This is going to be huge for that team. Even if Nap manages to win this race, Lona's going to benefit greatly from this as well.
And she's in a position to gain 35 points, so she'll be 14 ahead of Aaron Abel. She'll be the points leader. Now, J-Nap came into this race 45 behind Lona, and he's in a position to gain 15, so J-Nap going to be about 30 behind the way it's currently running. I'm sure J-Nap would love Landis Smith Jr. to get around the 00, though. But you're right, Luna Lona definitely doing the same thing Aaron Abel did yesterday, I feel like. Just having a great pit stop and moving herself up through the field, and she's going to take the championship lead. But J-Nap's still going to be in contention for it, assuming he can win this race, of course. And then, what about John Andrews at 21? Struggling here today, 15th. About to lose 16th, or lose 15th to Christian Master right there. He's been 16th all day in that 21 machine.
And that's part of the difficulty of being mid-pack like that is when the leaders separate themselves, there's just nothing you can do. You could be fastest car on the track, but if you're just stuck around all these people, it's hard to get to the front.
Absolutely. Going to be interesting to see how the points end up shaking up after this one. Jay Knapp's got a 4-second lead now on Trey Smith. He's got to be careful. I mean, we saw what happened to Ace Garcia. And I tell you, a lot of the races we have seen lately on the channel, we know for a fact that it is not over until it is over. And I know you're holding your breath, Micah. Possibly see your driver get his first career win. You know, he started full-time last season in the Haas IndyCar Series, went 20 races without a win. This here is his 35th race in the Haas IndyCar Series. He's looking to finally break through and get that first race victory and have a shot at the title. And he really pulled away from Trey Smith that last lap right there. And he's looking pretty solid for the time being there. And Nathan Stapleton to get another win as an owner as well. And hey, the JBL car almost won the JBL Brickyard 400 last Saturday. Who knows, maybe there's a little luck for their Cup team coming in. Travis Crampton trying to close in and have a shot at the title over there. We'll have to see. Jay Knapp, we know he's going to have a shot if things stay the way they are. Coming to the white flag here at Watkins Glen for Jay Knapp here in the second race of the BodyArmor Dual at the Glen.
And we'll have to see if he can hang on, just hit his marks for one more lap. And you know what, this is such a heartbreak for that 27 team. I would love to see what happened going up that hill. Because it's pretty rare, I feel like, to just see a car blow up like that while leading. So as we see Lona losing a spot there heading into the final lap.
A couple more points right there as Landon Smith Jr. gets around her. That's 3 more points right there that Luna Lona's going to lose, and every point's going to matter going into that finale. Of course, it's not a double points race. And hey, in real life, IndyCar's like that now too, which is great. But you got to be within 52 points of the race leader to have the points leader, to have a mathematical opportunity at the championship. And Jay Knapp will have it. Oh, he's got to be careful though with Angel Oliveira here on this final lap, not to get into him. You know, that one machine is clearly off the pace, was involved in that accident with Aaron Abel, and Jay Knapp is flying out there.
Yeah, and at this point it might just be safer to ride behind and just let off a bit. Don't risk making that move. He seems a little far back. There's only a few corners.
It looked like he was closing in quite a bit there. But it does not appear that it's going to be an issue. Well, Micah, I know you were waiting for this one for so long. How about this one for Jay Knapp? It's going to be his first career win on the channel. He gets it done in the second race of the BodyArmor Dual at the Glen. Jay Knapp wins it at Watkins Glen. Trey Smith will finish second. Landon Smith here. Oh, Lona's in the wall. She's going to lose 2 more spots. Oh, boy. And it's not the end of the world. She'll still be the points leader, but that points lead's going to be ever so tighter going in the Pocono next week. Caleb Rose with the top 5, Tanner Pardon in 4th, and Luna Lona will finish in 6th. But the big story of the day, Jay Knapp wins it here at Watkins Glen for his first career win on the channel.
You know what, NS Racing is just being on fire this year, so he's got to be proud of that result. I know I sure am. And just once again, though, Ace Garcia had hell of a run today. Same with the 79, same with Lona. Not quite sure what happened there at the end, but a lot of good cars having great runs today, and just unfortunate. You'd hate to see the leader blow up like that.
It's just the nature of this racetrack. We've seen so many crazy things happen here in the past, and all the different races we have had. But Jay Knapp able to power through all of it and get his first career win on the channel. And you see the official standings right there. We're going to go ahead and process this for you guys so we can discuss points right here. It's going to be very interesting to see how this ends up shaking out in the title race. But Jay Knapp, a 5.5-second lead for his first ever win. How about that for your driver right there? I'm sure you're proud of that.
Yeah, and you know what? I was worried that Smith, who had also been fast all race, I was worried he was going to catch him. But no, Jay pulled away at the end there. So did something right, and that pit stop was magical. Like you said, they gained a spot on pit lane. Didn't even have to do it on track.
And that was a great pit stop out of that NS Racing team. Of course, there's no pit stop ratings, no ratings at all in this series. But if we did have ratings, I would definitely say that Nathan was putting in some good ratings into that organization. 51 total points for Jay Knapp. Luna Lona has 28 total points from this race, and Aaron Abel with 1 point. And here is how, and you guys will see this on your screen, how it lines up. Luna Lona, the points leader, by 6 points ahead of Aaron Abel. J Knapp 22 points behind going into that finale race. So if Luna Lona and Aaron Abel fall back and J Knapp gets another win, he's going to be in the catbird seat. And then John Andrews 39 behind also with an opportunity. So we're going to go in the Pocono with a 4-way battle for the championship. And Luna Lona, Aaron Abel, the two strong favorites. But wow, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. August 26th at noon Eastern Time from Pocono for the Haas World Championship 200K. Do you have an idea of who you think might get this title race, or is it really all up to chance at Pocono with it being a super speedway?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to bring up. You never know what's going to happen at Pocono. It's a heartbreaker of a racetrack. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fast. We'll just have to wait and see. 6 points. That is an incredibly tight gap, so there's no telling. It could be anybody's game.
Definitely will be anybody's game. I think J Knapp's got a great opportunity. All the momentum after this win here at Watkins Glen. And John Andrews, he's going to have a lot happen, but he still has an opportunity, and we'll keep those points up on the corner of the screen for that finale race at Pocono next week, so you guys are in the loop on who's got the points lead and whatnot. It's going to be a lot of fun to see who gets it done here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Well, hey, man, I know you're happy about that one. J Knapp finally getting it done. Like I said, we saw Caleb Rose finally go to victory lane. We finally saw, I should say, Aaron Abel get a race win and Luna Lona get a win this season, and now we finally saw J Knapp get it done. That's 4 drivers, actually 5 drivers. Of course, like I said, keep on forgetting Matt Gutierrez, who will be in that Pocono race next week, by the way. 5 drivers getting their first career wins on the channel this season, including your guy J Knapp right there, and a great drive out of that 98 team to get it done here at Watkins Glen. What a great race here, and we got one more here in the Super Weekend tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. It's a Lake Effect Ice Cream 400K. Oh, it's going to be a good one with how it's been going over there, and Drew Webb got the win in Indianapolis last week. But I don't know if he's going to have that same strength that we've been seeing out of him here at Watkins Glen. He struggled on the last road course, and who knows, going into Daytona next week, it could be anybody's game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time in the Discord, we got ourselves signups for the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Of course, you have to be in the Discord to sign up for that because we've got the driver ratings in play, but if you're not, click the link for the Discord and it'll be showing up there in just a little bit of time, less than half an hour. We'll have those signups go up in the signups channel. There's 12 spots available, but it's a full-time ride for the 18-race season beginning 2 weeks from now, or actually less than 2 weeks from now. Heck, it's beginning... What am I saying? I am so sorry, guys. I am ahead of myself. We already did that. That's what happens. That's tomorrow, real time, when we are recording this. That already happened. The Truck Series begins next Thursday. Forget what I said. But we do have signs for the Rowdy Energy Pro Series every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, if you're interested. I am so sorry about that. Please forgive me for what I said. At the end of the Michigan race, I forgot to post the accurate points, and, but hey, you'll see the accurate points. You have already seen them. They're right there on your screen right now. And the finale race next Saturday, August 26th at noon Eastern Time. Oh, Micah, thank you so much for joining me. Happy for you, man. You finally got a race victory there with your driver. And yeah, we're excited to see how it all goes down next week for the Haas World Championship 200K. Congratulations to J Knapp on his first career win here in the Haas IndyCar Series, and here are the point standings for the Haas IndyCar Series going into the finale race here, the 2023 season. On behalf of Mike and Knapp, thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.